Hi, it's Amy Keast at amykeast.com, and today I wanted to talk to you about the high cost of prescription medications. So stay tuned. Well, if you've been following my blog for some time now, you know that I used to work in a pharmacy for about 27 years. And so I do have a lot of knowledge and experience when it comes to information about the drug companies and their practices, things like that. So when I talk about this, it's because I have questions and things that don't really make sense. And I feel like as a country, we just let all of this just go on without raising some flags. So my problem is, why is it the United States pays at least 50% more than, say, countries such as the UK, France, Germany, Spain? We already know that we paid more for our drugs than Canada and Mexico because people are choosing to get their meds there because of the difference in the cost. So, why is it that the drug companies charge the United States so much more? Okay, so I wanted to give you an example. I'm sure everybody's heard of Nexium. It's been heavily advertised, and now it's recently gone over the counter, and it's available without a prescription. But until then, it's ranked number one, number two, sometimes number three as far as the top medications in sales. So it's very it's prevalent out there. So Nexium, let's say that costs say that in, let's say, Germany, they pay $30, and in the UK, they might pay $32, and in Spain, they might pay $18 for a 30-day supply of Nexium. And in the United States, we pay well over $100. So there's a huge discrepancy there, and it doesn't seem quite right to me. There's another area of price discrepancy that really I find interesting. Retail customers, or the pharmacies on a retail level, pay a huge difference in price as compared to, say, a hospital pharmacy. And so a hospital pharmacy might pay, say, $1 for Nexium. For a bottle of Nexium, they might pay $1. But the pharmacy might pay $140. And then, of course, they need to mark it up and pass that on to you because they're not going to charge you less than what they paid for. But then at the hospital, they aren't going to charge you. They're going to charge you retail prices and more. So when you get that Nexium at the hospital, they aren't going to charge you, say, $4 or $5 for that pill. It's going to be more like the retail price, whatever that would be. Say one pill might be $10. $15. So they're not really passing that savings on to you at all. So there's a huge discrepancy of pricing there, and I just don't understand why that's the case. And so why is it fair for that company to sell the hospital in the United States that drug for $1, but then mark it up to $140, say, on the retail level? That's just something that's never sat right with me. And the savings is not being passed on to anybody at the hospital. So doesn't that sound kind of weird to you? So these pricing strategies this is nothing new. This is something that's been going on for a very long time. And when asking the drug companies why the United States has to pay so much, they said it's to fund their research and development. So that's really interesting because most of these drug companies, their research and development, their budget for that is really less than their marketing or their advertising or their perks to their employees. So, R&D, that doesn't bear much weight with me. Just one more little tidbit about the drug companies. The top 10 drug companies in the world made over $85 billion last year. So that's a lot of money, and I really doubt they're sticking half of those profits back into their research and development. I would imagine they're sticking those profits right back into their company and giving out big fat bonuses and doing things like that. Well, that's all I have for you as far as pricing with drugs from the drug companies. I don't really feel like this makes sense, and I just raised the question so that other people start asking the question too. There's a lot of things in our healthcare system that don't make sense and that are not working right, and we just kind of go along with it because that's the way it is. So I think it's time that some of these things change, that people stand up and say we're not going to do this anymore.